texts. Here one can relate the credo of Boswitha Kutumbakam of Indian philosophy. Understanding of this may have the potential to providing a healing touch amidst the circumstances of fear, frustration, anxiety, etc. Let me quote Walter Seymour Armstrong, a distinguished professor of practical ethics, Trinity College of Arts and Sciences. He raised the question, if only one ventilator is available, but two patients urgently need a ventilator and it is not safe for them to share, then which patient should doctors give the ventilator to? So such dilemma may arise. I am hopeful that today's webinar will explore all these things. And with this positive note, may I invite Dr. Bonavina Brahma, Principal of Rajar College, to deliver her inaugural address. Over to you, Madam. Madam, please unmute yourself. Madam, please unmute yourself.
Sorry, sir. Okay. Sorry. It was some technological problem. I believe everyone will bear with me. Honorable speaker of today's webinar, Professor Mao, Mrs. Anjali Busmatari, the coordinator, IQAC, Kokrajhar Government College, Dr. Barhunka Musahari, the HOD, Department of Philosophy, the distinguished guests who have joined this webinar from different institutions, the faculties of Department of Philosophy, and other faculties of my college, and my dear students. At the very outset, I would like to greet you with a very warm good morning. And again, I would like to welcome you to this webinar on the impact of on the topic, modern human predicament in the light of COVID-19, philosophical perspective. My dear friends, as we know, the outbreak of COVID-19 in India started at the end of February 2020. From the last week of March, the government of India declared the complete lockdown all over the country to limit viral transmission. Educational institutions, business establishment, markets, all were shut down, and means of transport was also stopped. No one was allowed to move from one place to another. Families were detached. Citizens were compelled to stay confined at home without justified exception. Still now, we are staying confined at our homes. This whole situation drastically changed the life of people with a huge philosophical impact. We are experiencing a new, unpredictable, and rapidly evolving situation right now. We are compelled to stay confined at home. Our family dynamics have changed. Travel is restricted, and there has been a reduction in leisure and social activities. The work situation has also changed thoroughly. Many people have lost their jobs temporarily or permanently. Many are working from home, sometimes with insufficient preparation for doing so. And those who work in sectors considered essentials appear to experience heavy workloads, increased level of stress, and exposure to the virus. COVID-19 pandemic have caused a lot of uncertainty in human life all over the world. When the global focus has been mostly on testing, finding a cure, and preventing transmission, people are going through a harsh psychological problem in adjusting to the current lifestyle. So, now what is the remedy of such predicament? I believe today's webinar will give us a new direction how to overcome this predicament. Once again, I welcome Professor Mao to this webinar, and with this, I would like to inaugurate today's webinar. I wish this webinar a very successful one, so that it proves very successful to all of us. Welcome, Professor Mao, once again, and all the distinguished faculties from different parts of the country. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable. As per guests. Welcome address will be delivered by Dr. Barunka Musahari, Honorable HOD, Department of Philosophy, Uprasarka College. May I invite Dr. Barunka Musahari to deliver his welcome address. Over to you, sir. Please.
Good morning to all. Respected principal, respected invited Mr. Person, Professor Xavier Primau, Philosophy Department, NEHU. Well, first of all, I would like to take my privilege to thank the coordinator of Outbreak Government College for giving me this opportunity to welcome you. I, on behalf of the Philosophy Department of Government College, welcome you to this national webinar on the topic Modern Human Predicaments in the light of COVID-19, a philosophical perspective. COVID-19 is a burning issue. It is very dangerous. On March 11, 2020, World Health Organization declared coronavirus disease, which was found in Wuhan, China. It is an infectious disease caused by a newly discovered coronavirus. This disease affecting various countries and territories around the world. So, before concluding my welcome address, I would like to welcome all the participants and all the faculty members and all the students to take serious the matter and to cooperate to this national webinar to make a colorful, a grand success. With these few words, I conclude my welcome address. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Barunka Musahari, Head and Associate Professor, Department of Philosophy, Uprasarka College, for your kind welcome address. Next, as per agenda, we have introduction of the resource person of today's webinar, and introduction of resource person will be done by moderator, that means myself. So I would like to introduce our resource person before the digital audience. Xavier Mao is currently serving as Professor of Philosophy. He was head in the Department of Philosophy from past March 2016 to past March 2019 in Northeastern Hill University, Shillong. He is the longest serving president of Nehru Teachers Association, elected 5 times at different times. Currently, he is vice president of FEDPUTA, that is Federation of Central Universities Teachers Association, since 2018. He is joint secretary of IPC, that is Indian Philosophical Congress, since March 2019. He was a member of Indian Council of Philosophical Research, ICPR, New Delhi from 2016 to 2019. He is a member of the editorial board of the journal Annales Universities Pedagogiczne Krakowianisis, Poland. He is consultant editorial board of ICPR journal published by Springer, Germany. He has papers in more than 20 edited books. He has more than 25 articles in both national and international journals. He is author of the book Virtue and Morality, published in 2011. He has occasionally contributed articles in different newspapers. He has given few talks in All India Radio. He presented papers and delivered lectures in different countries of the world besides within India. He has also given several invited talks and lectures in different universities and colleges. So this is the bio note and academic background of our today's resource person, Professor Xavier P. Mao. So we are very much pleased to have such a scholar of national and international repute amongst us. Thank you, sir, for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
So next agenda. Thank you, sir. So next as per agenda, we have presentation by resource person. Presentation by resource person, and the paper will be delivered by Professor Xavier P. Mao, Philosophy, Northeastern Hill University. So, sir, over to you. This platform is completely yours, sir. Thank you, sir. You may proceed.
Okay. For introduction, respected principal of Kokrajhar Government College, the coordinator, Dr. Banasri, head department of philosophy, of the college, and other people from other colleges and other parts of the country. First of all, I what during present prepared in this paper is this, and here is what I have, whatever thoughts I shall also insert. Of my day is predicament of modern human in light of COVID-19 philosophical perspective. Two major themes that I have to dwell on. First is, what is modern human predicament? And to modern puzzle or predicament, what is the philosophical perspective or philosophical viewpoint on this? This is what I have to discuss. Humans are also persisting. Human problems unique to contemporary time. How we understand and how we view and what solution can. This is what I have dwelt on. modern human predicament. Human is modern by violent pollution, this is a secondary of weapons, just then geo tensions like the two superpowers, that is the US and China, and their satellites. Also between Greece and Turkey and their satellites, and the civil wars, and many problems created also by the superpowers and the regional powers, and the local powers, and many new problems which cannot be foreseen, all constitute the problem that we face. It's coronavirus has affected all people of the world. There is no proper medicine or vaccine for the disease till now. Although, for instance, of implementations and trials have been going on, particularly in USA, China, Russia, Israel, countries, including India, at the first India stage of experimentation or trial. Countries which are affected by coronavirus have taken preventive steps to control and contain the spread of the disease in this regard. But at the same time, day by day, the number of affected of COVID-19 pandemic is increasing in some countries exponentially. In some countries, the curve seems to be flattening. It is a fact that USA, which is developed so much in science and technology, including other top facilities, has been affected most in terms of numbers of death as well as infected till now. Till the effects of coronavirus are multi-dimensional, include effects. Fear psychosis is increase and even sites in different parts of the world. The collateral also increasing. The economy also more money for unemployment. All countries has increased. Poverty and the income increase. Existing disease also seriously all the more affected. A lot of people are and strain what they give the largest economies, the US, and China. And apart from that, different international news media, which are also very in spread misinformation, thereby the majority of people are victims of propaganda. And in this respect, what do as a control inquiry. The allies of the two superpowers have been drawn into the conflict. Besides these countries, the attempt to change regime in Venezuela, Syria, Bolivia, Lebanon, and Yemen, and even many other countries by the US has also triggered serious effect apart from the tribal rivalries Africa and Afghanistan. Further, combined by natural disasters like the unprecedented floods and Balkan ramification is widespread. Hunger, crimes, etc., common being, including government, are worried government. We simply not know what is to be done, including the of the working times. However, social distancing, wearing of masks, as well as frequent washing of hands have helped us profusely. It is said that corona appeared in China, but other indications research point around parts of America. But how this true? We need serious verification. It is said at the stage, there is no need to dig the past. What is and this how to deal with the present situation? What has happened has happened in the past. Any epidemic like plague, small plague, or swine flu, malaria, including plagues, to highly affected, but because of availability of medicine for the effect is controlled. The effect in pandemic vaccine is available, is to be done. It is pertinent and relevant to mention that modern human has polluted the atmosphere of the earth in an unprecedented manner, and this has also so many consequences many people cannot comprehend. It is reported that the world are polluted. Who is responsible for all these? A human being who is responsible. Inventions in science and technology in various forms have helped human beings, but it has a double-edged sword. So technology are solely responsible for pollution, air and water. What is the way out? How do we tackle what is perennial solution? Have temporary solution, and technology development, but use science technology indiscriminately has caused immense for human. understanding, particularly like pure mathematics and pure physics, like philosophy, is absolutely indispensable in meaningful living in this world. And this world, understanding the cosmos and universe, and also necessary, but the technology as the offshoot or the branch or the corollary development of science should be careful. This is where the second dimension which we have added, that is philosophical perspective, comes. And right use of technology is bound to create Frankenstein. We have forgotten, thrown the moral values and virtues. The result is the threat of our own existence itself.
Hello. Hello, Mao sir. Can you hear me? Hello, Mao sir. Can you hear me? Hello. Mao sir, can you hear me? Hello. Mao sir, can you hear me? Hello. Hello. Hello, Mao sir. Can you hear me? Hello, Mao sir. Can you hear me? Hello. Hello. Hello, Mao sir. Can you hear me? Hello. Hello, Honorable Research Person, sir. Can you hear me? Hello. Hello, Mao sir. Can you hear me? You are not audible, sir. Kindly unmute yourself. Hello, sir. Kindly unmute yourself. You are not audible. Hello? Hello, Masa, can you hear me? Hello, Masa, can you hear me? You are not audible, sir. I- Hello, Masa, can you hear me? You are not audible, sir. Hello, Masa.
Bonusri, please send him a note. Please send him a note.
Actually, his number is also. Hello. Hello, Mao sir. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hello, Professor Mao sir. Can you hear me? Hello, Professor Mao sir. Can you hear me? Hello, Professor Mao sir. Can you hear me? Please unmute yourself, sir. Hello. Hello, sir. Honorable Research Person, sir. Can you hear me? Your audio is not coming. Please unmute yourself. Hello, sir. Sir, kindly unmute yourself. Your audio is not coming for more than 20 minutes. Please, sir.
More than 20 minutes.
From here, now I can
Huh?
from here I can do.
Coming up. What was the last word that I said since for about 20 minutes? You didn't hear me. So to repeat, what was you
Please,
heard?
sir, repeat, sir. Repeat.
Okay. Do not know from
Yes, sir. Predicament situation. You were saying like that predicament situation. So from that on, you can carry, sir.
from which portion, please?
Predicament situation.
Okay. Oh, oh. Maybe
Please, sir, repeat, sir. Repeat your paper, sir.
it is. I have already
Yes, sir.
told you.
Participants are
In the past, epidemic like plague, smallpox. Did I say this? Did you hear about this?
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Or you
sir.
have heard this? Okay. Inventions and
Yes, sir.
discovery
Kindly continue.
science from there. Invention, discovery in
Yes, sir.
science and technology. Did I say that? Yeah, can you hear that one?
Yes, sir. You can continue, sir. You can continue, sir. We can hear you. You can continue, sir.
From which
Okay.
from here?
You can continue, sir.
Okay. Since
After the invention,
inventions,
sir.
the communication, then I shall continue from inventions and discoveries in science, technology, in various forms have helped human being, but at the same time are solely pollution of land, air. Did I said that also earlier, or you didn't hear this? Okay. I can. So the way out, we need science, technology for development, but use of science and technology, infinitely has caused immense problem for human. Science as a theoretical understanding like pure physics or pure mathematics and are very essential the cost for understanding and even human. This is absolutely necessary, but technology as the branch or offshoot of science should be carefully used at orientation. In this regard, a lot of philosophers and some good scientists have also talked about the marriage of technology and ethics. And one among them is Polish philosopher Henryk Skolimowski, who talks orientation of technology with the inherent value of virtues and moral value. And by the profuse technology create that is the evil that technology will begin to control us and we will be slaves. We have forgotten control and virtue. The result is of our own existence itself. I want to this connection that uncontrolled greed is responsible for the present human predicament. Who knows if we do not control our consumption, the days are not far off. The earth may be. Many scientists and philosophers said this: more than viruses may appear and may cease to exist as we were not existing several millions years ago, while living or organisms and microorganisms were living. When other microorganisms were living actively, human beings were not there at all. So this cycle of existence can be repeated if we humans are not careful and if we do not apply philosophy. Philosophy as purely understanding does not have much use, it is like, as I said earlier, pure physics and pure mathematics without applied philosophy. That is the ethical values and moral virtues. There is no doubt that rotten objects and other pollutants are the dangerous living form. And as you all know, in our air, in our atmosphere, there are several millions of bacteria, protozoa, and viruses of different types are floating around. And if we disturb and disrupt their habitat, they can infect human beings. The amount of on defense in dangerous weapons not only depleting the economic, but going to create further problem for human beings. In this, mention to only one thing, and it is this: it is a decision to live together as sisters and brothers of the world as one family. What constitutes philosophical perspective? Well, important dimensions, pure philosophical, that is a pure crystal clarity of thinking and conceptual clarification, and the other is imbibing and the moral virtues into our life. Though this is not an easy thing, more than sending rockets to the moon or to the Venus planet. Living pattern or our behavior in accordance with virtues and moral value. Moral is also constitute the second dimensions of philosophical perspective. Even developing technology in accordance with moral value, as I said earlier. As a student of the dimension of human life, it is a travesty and irony of facts that the two world wars were fought with devastating effect, which were never witnessed in the human world as we emerge onto the. And yet, we human beings have not learned anything from the past experience of the two world wars. In the past, human beings were also fighting, but they were fighting bows and arrows, and the extent of damage and destruction were very limited. But in today's world, with the weapons of mass destruction, the whole human being, not only whole human being, the macro organism, some of the micro living organism can be also wiped out. Beyond total limits. Human road, either we live a happy life, we will be out of existence. Time has come for human beings to learn this and put it into practice. Though difficult, but the fruit is very sweet and tasty. The Third World War, if the Third World War happens, it will be more dangerous and devastating and a complete decimation than COVID-19 pandemic. The world is moving, there is a possibility of the Third World War. And let me cite an example. The present President Donald Trump is an erratic person devoid of moral value and ignorance. And such leaders in other countries, if other country can multiply, they can create a construction world. Different countries suspect each other, and the powerful countries are using the small ones as their proxy fighters, like as two regional wars between Greece and Turkey. Turkey is befriending Egypt, and Turkey is befriending Syria and their allies. And likewise, even Saudi Arabia is befriending the Syrian and the Lebanese and the Yemen. And on the other hand, Iran is also encouraging the Houthi fighter in Yemen and also in Yemen and also Lebanon and in Syria. So this way, example is being ramified even at the situation which is taking place between India, Pakistan, and China can also lead to possible Third World War. Since so much disinformation and provocation is happening in different media, but unfortunately, majority of the Indian population is illiterate or with half-baked education. They do not know what is happening behind the scene. Therefore, we must keep our perspective on what we are going to do. Instead of spending so much money on defense, we should spend disease, hunger, and illiteracy. It is not fear, but the result of analysis the present political situation. Who is responsible for this? All neighboring countries should learn to live together as one human family. This is equally important even in the present situation. Together, COVID-19 pandemic, the world body and various other, and when world international bodies exist, they should be as a whole flourish together. But unfortunately, a leader like Donald Trump away from the international bodies. And likewise, even in Europe, some of the countries are now breathing the air of ultra-nationalism. And in the third world country, this is being in a miniature level repeated. Who is for the spread of coronavirus? It is now inactive, but we have to learn to fight and live together in a fraternal way. Coronavirus 19 will come and end one day, but war will continue to haunt us if we do not live ethically. That is, intrinsically and extrinsically, we the values and spread and create such an atmosphere. Unless we do that, the human, which is there as part of our human activity, inclination or tendency, will be there. And therefore, this will surface into different forms of conflict and war. To conclude, I suggest that we all should try to keep Mother Earth neat and clean from dirt and filth. There is no proper management in urbanization. And at the present, when the third is increasing, even the population, in half a century's time, the human population will reach 10 billion people. And can the earth sustain these 10 billion people? Think of the consequences, my dear friend. It is of creation and targeted to the problem of pollution. There should not be technology of mass destruction. To sum up, coronavirus will one day surely disappear. That is hope. But other forms of calamities will and they will come. To be taken there, students of philosophy can contribute much to the world. Perhaps the culture of renunciation can be encouraged. But by this means, skeletal complete abandonment with the belief of no, I don't mean that. What I clearly mean is overconsumption. The value of interdependence and interconnectivity is an important philosophical concept, which even in the past philosophers like Buddha, Gautama Buddha, and Mahavir, and Chinese philosopher Confucius, and the Greek philosopher like Socrates and others have already spoken about. The recipient and peaceful coexistence should be inculcated. So this is extremely difficult. This is the only solution. This is my firm assertion. Unnecessary technology should come to a halt. Experiment should also come to a halt, though theoretical understanding of science is a must, and that is indispensable to understand the universe, the whole cosmos, and ourselves, our human being. Then only be able to live a truly meaningful and flourishing life as human, as qua-human. To preempt the effects of many unknown dangerous diseases, we have to stop from further pollution of the atmosphere. Today, the whole earth is polluted due to the fault of human beings, and not the fault of devil or God or goddesses. No, it is human. The long-term control of our problem is to control the problem culture of conspicuous consumption. We should keep the for the next generation. And the great grandchildren in this only habitable planet. Radically changed their attitude towards value-oriented life. We may cease to exist one day as human species, just as we were not there on Earth millions of years while other animals were while there. So I have a bit of Wittgensteinian stings to your mind and to your moral life. Thank you once again, everyone, and your comments and your comment, your correction and your question are most welcome. Thank you all. What's going on?
For your nice presentation. You have rightly said that Confucius' philosophy of China that we are to in a new position in which we prepare for peaceful coexistence. Corona pandemic teaches us to rebuild our society. It has taught us to rebuild our status quo. So, corona pandemic is a cause to mass destruction occurred due to excessive use of technology. So, in these circumstances, your discussion and deliberation offers a lot to us. I said that the Gautam Buddha's philosophy for peaceful existence and harmonious coexistence is a paramount need of the hour. I believe your discussion and deliberation will be of immense benefit for all of us. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Though in between we have a technical disturbances, you have nicely presented your paper. Thank you very much, sir. Yes.
Yeah.
We have interaction session.
Right.
So I would like to request participants to put their questions in the chat box, or directly they can tap to speak and they can ask a question. Thank you.
Okay. So that's something.
Question? Question here, Nathan? Question to who? Question to Paisa?
Some questions.
Ada. Sir.
Can I answer?
Yeah, you can also say, sir. You can also say.
Okay. The question is. The pandemic situation is going on. In that situation, how much parental support is needed for children? And another question is, ethics and new morals required. So these are the questions, and more questions are there, but I think some questions have just disappeared. This one, yeah. Another, my question is that we are adjusting to new way of living due to COVID-19. Would there also new morals, values, and ethics that would arise, or would there be change between the existing meaning of morals, values, and ethics? Okay, these are the questions. Well, there may be new morals, new values. No doubt there can be. But the important ethics Eastern and Western philosophers and Western talked about the interconnectivity, interdependence, and peaceful. These ethical values human beings have not put into practice by majority of the people. If we can put these values into practice, this itself can sustain human beings very, very well. Therefore, unlike the way we are adapting ourselves to a new way of life, to COVID-19, the new it emerges, it completely new ethics at all. What human beings is fundamental ethical and moral virtues like the interdependence and interconnectivity and peaceful and all the other living beings as all these family. This itself, it can put into practice. I do new or new value. It can add much to this. There subtle nuances can be added, like maybe aesthetics, values, and some other finer points may be added. But that part of the perfected human being or driving towards perfection. But even to live a fully enjoyable life, if we can practice existing moral and ethical teaching, that itself is good enough. So, I think are not quite clear, and some of them are similar questions. So,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
and I think that
There is another question from Ujala Raj Bosumotwari.
yes, yeah.
Our question is like this: as we are adjusting to new way of living due to COVID-19, Would there also be new morals, values, and ethics that would arise, or would there be changes in the existing meaning of morals, values, and ethics?
Well, I have answered this question, but well, the new ways of moral, but if the moral is for perfection, well, anything which can add to perfection, welcome. In the world is different leaders of the world, majority of them are not at all ethical. Majority of them are not at all moral. Majority of them are not even knowledgeable. And that has added serious situation. What is governing their lifestyle, I may say, is a rude pragmatism behavior. That is what is adding to the human problem today.
Thank you, sir, for your answer. I hope Jolaras Bosumotari will be satisfied with your explanation. Till now, we have no question, sir. Esteemed participants, you can put your questions in the chat box. If you have any queries or doubts.
Yeah, one more question.
Yeah.
That is,
Yes, sir.
one participant has sent has opened new normals and dimensions of life. Yes, coronavirus has opened new normal. That is, we have to wear all the time masks whenever in public place, and we have 1 meter or 1.5 meters. So these are new ways of life which has become one way or one to and then unnecessary going out or socializing has to be also avoided. So this has also to have seminar in the webinar or through video conference is also now an accelerated new way of seminar trend. And also even the learning has been now and all through video conference.
So thank you, sir. Next, another question coming from Tariq Zarden. He asks, does China have to pay indemnity to the world for COVID-19?
Okay, good.
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah. Can I go ahead with my answer?
Yes, yes, sir. You can proceed.
Yeah, right.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now, the question put by the participant: does China have indemnity to the world for COVID-19? Is the question. Well, in my sincere answer, if wherever any new disease originates, like influenza originated in Spain and AIDS virus originated in United States of America, and then one plague disease originated in Gujarat, and likewise other diseases also originate in Africa and many other countries. So do they all have to pay compensation, that will be my counter question. But a country has deliberately created the disease, yes, certainly it is a criminal offense. They have to pay indemnity or they have to pay compensation. But if they have not created any deliberate disease, I don't think they have to pay. This will be my answer. On the contrary, we all countries have to fight together and try to find out how it originated.
Thank you, sir. Another question is coming from Nizara Mehdi. She asks, how to practice Buddhism for a mindful, peaceful, and happy life in the pandemic situation?
Right. Yeah. Yes. Thank you. A good question. Well, Buddhism clearly, whatever good ideas said by any great people, they should get to rational scrutiny and serious reasoning process. And Buddhism also about the interdependence of all living beings, particularly human beings. So these ideas are very, very important, very, very in the corona pandemic. But unfortunately, because of ignorance, people have misunderstood Buddhism, and ordinary people have converted Buddha, Gautama Buddha, into a god. That is the serious mistake. But the essential, important teachings of Buddha, Gautama Buddha, about the 4 noble paths and 8 eightfold paths. All these are very, very important. And by practicing them, those values, for example, do not be overcome anger, do not be overcome by your greed, do not be overcome by your delusion. Such Buddhist ideas are not only good for yourself, not only good for myself, it is good for all others, even for the enemy. So if I wish to truly be happy, I should not entertain such an idea. Delusion, even anger, even greed. But unfortunately, we human beings do not understand the importance and the values of this Buddhist ideal. So people continue to take revenge. People continue to be angry. People continue to even kill others and commit crime because intellectually they are ignorant and morally they don't practice. So Buddhist idea of morality, if you practice it, it is not only good for yourself, but it is good for all others. So it has both intrinsic values and extrinsic value. That is inherently good and instrumentally also good. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your nice explanation. Next, we have another question coming from Surji Sumak Vismutiari. To what extent art and literature help pragmatically in safeguarding ethical ways of living in today's modern life? To what extent art and literature help pragmatically in safeguarding ethical ways of living in today's modern life? A question from Surji Sumak Vismutiari, sir. Can you hear me, sir?
Since a lot more questions have come, let me answer your question first. So please, repeat again.
Okay.
But let me answer your question. Yeah. to
Yeah,
tell your question.
Sorji Suma Bismutiari. Sorji Suma Bismutiari is asking, to what extent art and literature help pragmatically in safeguarding ethical ways of living in today's modern life?
Well, if we can truly understand art and literature, not just uh, outward part, but truly appreciating and imbibing them, then that will become a part of our habit of appreciation of beauty. And beauty may not necessarily be pure physical beauty, but good ethical living can be also a kind of beauty. Kind of symmetry can be also a beauty. So if we are convinced of such art and the literature are talking about such beautiful things of life, naturally, this will definitely help us even in our relationship with others. And that will definitely promote better ways of living.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Next question is from Sonika Bora. Children does not know about the process of meditation at the time. How they overcome from during COVID-19? The question is from Sonika Bora. Children does not know about the process of meditation. How do we overcome during the COVID-19?
Right. It is not only children, but even illiterate parents or also do not know. So in this regard, the knowledgeable people have to teach them. They have to tell them what is the right way of living. And since children are on the process of learning many things, the basic is taught by the people.
Yes, sir. Another question is coming from my colleague Kunjalal Narjari. He asks, in postmodern world, we cannot ignore the science and technology as well as ethics, which is must be divided. So how do you justify this relationship between science and technology and ethics?
Well, science and ethics and technology. Science is very essential. If we do not know science, we will be having years, we will be having all kinds of mistakes if we do not know science. Supposing why there is rain, if we do not know science, people will think gods are fighting, therefore gods are crying, their tears are shedding. Likewise, many things, if we do not know science, all kinds of superstitious belief will be there. But technology, like the technology of nuclear bomb, or the technology of even biological weapon, these things can destroy life and human being. Therefore, the technology, when we make, they must be guided by ethical values. And ethics are very, very essential for important human living. Between human beings, even among the family, a good living requires ethics. Ethics is indispensable. And therefore, it is science and ethics which will refine, which will help what kind of technology we should make. Those good technology which will help human beings for a better living, we should make those technologies. But those technology which will destroy us, that we have to avoid. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your nice elaboration. Thank you very much. Our next question is coming from Ahiboro. Ahiboro was our ex-GS. So he asked the question, as the beginners, the kids who were just starting their formal education and had to stop going to school due to pandemic, interrupting the interest of the kids, what do you think can bring back the momentum among the children?
Yes. Yes. Due to necessity, the children have to stay at home, but the home and the house themselves are a kind of a primary school. The children, if you force them to learn abstract things, that will develop negative psychology. Therefore, caring parents and caring adults should help children to play, and through games and through play, certain important values should be imparted to the children. Because through singing, through play, children can also learn with concrete objects and imagery. But if you try to force them to learn certain abstract thing, that will produce counter effect, opposite effect. And that is how we witness in many primary school, children refuse to go to school. So adults should be very careful how to teach them through singing or through playing game, whatever children are interested. So those important values should be imparted to the children.
Thank you, sir, for your nice participant discussions. Next, no question till now, but I would like to request our technical host, Mr. Liladhar Sohan, Assistant Professor, Department of Physics, Kokrajhar College, to share our resource person's mail ID, so that if any specific questions our esteemed participants have, they can directly contact him via mail. So, sir, your mail ID will be shared here in the chat box. So, nice elaboration and presentation, and discussions have also gone since the never-ending period, I think we will want to go on, but we are running out of time. So, I will stop here to take questions. As a presenter, we have vote of thanks. Vote of thanks will be delivered by Mrs. Rangini Brahma, Assistant Professor, Department of Political Science, Kokrajhar College. May I request Mrs. Rangini Brahma to propose vote of thanks? Over to Rangini.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you can proceed.
Honestly, a very good afternoon to everyone. Honorable Chairperson and Principal Kokrajhar Government College, Dr. Bonabina Brahmo, respected Dr. Barhunka Musari Sir, HOD, Department of Philosophy, Kokrajhar Government College, Honorable Resource Person, Professor Javier P. Mao, Department of Philosophy, Northeastern Hill University, Moderator, Mrs. Bonashri Bharatwaj, Assistant Professor, Department of Philosophy, and all the participants as well as the members of the webinar. It is my privilege to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. I, on behalf of the IQAC, Kokrajhar Government College and the Department of Philosophy, extend a very hearty vote of thanks. First of all, I would like to offer my sincere thanks to Dr. Bonabina Brahmo, Chairperson and Principal, Kokrajhar Government College, for organizing such a webinar. Secondly, I would offer my thanks to Dr. Barhunka Musahari, HOD, Department of Philosophy, Kokrajhar Government College. Thirdly, I would give my heartfelt thanks to Resource Person, Professor Javier P. Mao, Department of Philosophy, Northeastern Hill University, for such an enriching speech. Sir, your views will enlighten us in many aspects. I would like to offer my vote of thanks to our IQAC coordinator, Mrs. Anjali Bosumotari, for making success of the webinar. Next, I would like to offer my vote of thanks to the moderator, Mrs. Vanusri Bharadwaj, Assistant Professor, Department of Philosophy, Kokarja Government College. Next, I would also offer a thanks to all the members and participants of the webinar for making successful of this webinar. Last but not the least, I would like to offer my sincere thanks to the technical team for their untiring effort for making this webinar successful, and also Mr. Leonardo Chauhan, Department of Philosophy, with others for sharing the video as well. Thank you all. About you, Bonus.
Thank you, Ram, for your comments. So, this is the right time to conclude our webinar. We hope you have enjoyed and benefited with this webinar. And Master, please to visit Professor College when the situation becomes normal. Hello, Master. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you. Right.
Please to visit Professor College when situation becomes normal.
No, I can't hear you.
Sir,
Yes, now I can hear you.
I am saying that please
Yes.
do visit Professor College when situation becomes normal. Our college authority invites you.
Is it working?
We'll be
Okay,
very
okay.
pleased to have you amongst us.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. So with this, I conclude today's webinar. Thank you for joining us and cooperating us for the smooth functioning of this webinar. Thank you all. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you all. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thank you very much.